Hey, welcome back to Cutting Up with the Crawfords. And today we are cutting up one of the F words of marriage. Today's F word is friends. I'm Dari Crawford, and I have my girls here with me today. We got Danielle Nicholson and Tiara Perry, and they gonna cut up marriage and friendships with me. All right, so let's talk to Tiara.
Okay.
Introduce yourself. Like tell the people who you are.
Okay. I'm Tiara Perry. I am married to Marcus Perry. We've been married
Marcus.
for 5 years. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
How about you, D?
Yes. Well, hey, y'all. I am Danielle Nicholson. I'm married to Xavier Nicholson, and we've been married for 2 years now.
Yes. And these are my girls. I don't know what I would do without their friendship. First, we're going to set the stage and talk about what friendship means to everyone. Like, what is your definition of friendship? Also, what are some of the things that you value in friendship?
Yeah, I'll go. I think for me, friendship is trust, it's vulnerability, but it's also humor and being able to laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What about for you?
When I think about friendships, I think about safe spaces and brave spaces, spaces where I can come into, I can be authentic. I don't have to front. I can bring my good, my ugly, my cute, my I don't know what this is, and where I can feel brave enough to bring all of that, right? Not just safe, but I can feel brave to bounce ideas off of folks, just to
Yes.
show up without having to perform. That's what I think about.
I know that's right,
I love
Danielle.
that. I love the brave.
Yes.
That was good. Friendship for me is community. It is accountability. It is mentorship, discipleship,
Yeah.
and love. That's what friendship means to me. And I love that I get to have all of this with these ladies. It has just been life-changing for me. All of us are married. You know that me and Mr. Crawford have been married for 20 years. We're all married. At some point, we were single. And what did friendship look like for you when you were single? And how did that change over time? I can start us out. Friendship for me when I was single was inconsistent. Some of y'all know my story. Like, I have had a hard time with friendships. So it was inconsistent, I would say. And I had a couple of best friends, and then we slowly started to fade away. I still have a couple really close friends. As we progressed, like as I got older and more mature and developing a friendship and a relationship with Derek, he is my best friend. Yeah, so that's how it kind of went for me, going from single to married. How so for y'all?
Yeah, so it's always interesting for me to talk about friendship and marriage within the same conversation because they may think something different, but I think that friendship prepared me for marriage, right?
Oh,
I
that's
remember
good.
being a single in the church, and everyone would always say that marriage is a mirror and it's your spouse reflecting you back to you. And as a single woman who at one point was like, I don't know if I'm going to get married, but I want to be reflected back to me. And so I looked to my friendships to say, like, be that mirror for me until Zay comes along, right? Like,
Yes.
until I meet my husband, I still need opportunities to grow and be challenged. All of those things that you get in marriage, but within the appropriate context
Yes.
of friendship, right?
That's good.
And so I think being in friendships, that were deep and wide, where folks knew me, where they were safe spaces and brave spaces, allowed me to wrestle with some parts of myself that I didn't particularly like, still don't particularly like. But it allowed me to see myself in all of my fullness, right? As God used those relationships to reveal me to myself. So by the time I started getting serious about dating and all of that, and by the time Zay and I met, I knew myself a little bit better. So I knew how to articulate me to him. And so I think those relationships really helped me in marriage and preparing for him to reflect me back to me.
That's good. That's good.
Amen.
I love that. I love that you were married at not necessarily a later age, but later than me,
Yeah.
right? Where you got to experience all of that and was very intentional about that. And I didn't have that.
Yeah.
So to go through all of that, I didn't do that until like the later years, like most recently, right?
That's a good one to follow. Okay, so friendship before marriage.
Yes.
Similar to Danielle. Like, I think for me, I had a lot of really close friendships. I had great community, I felt like. I have a lot of friends who, like, best friends from kindergarten, best friends from middle school, best friends from college. But in marriage, like, I live with this person. He sees my dirty clothes on the floor. He sees all of it.
Yes.
Whereas my friends, I mean, maybe we'll spend the night or something, but like they don't see
Yeah.
all of me the way that my husband does. And so there's just a level of like just more trust and more vulnerability because he literally sees it all. So yeah.
I love that. That is something that I think people just don't talk about. They don't talk about what it's like to truly be married to your best friend.
Yeah.
And the level of vulnerability. Like you can't hide.
Nope.
Our spouses know us inside and out.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but for me at times I try to conceal some things in fear of rejection. And is he still going to love me? Is he still going to want to be married to me? And I mean, he is. He is.
Yeah.
What does friendship look like with your spouse? What does that look like? How have you navigated that space with him and running to him instead of, I mean, of course, right? First and foremost, we need to run to Jesus.
Yeah.
But running to our spouse instead of someone outside of your home.
Yeah. I mean, I think friendship with your spouse, it has to look a little bit different than any other friendship or any other relationship. Because at the end of the day, you have signed up for something that you have committed to staying in, right? And so if you and your girlfriend have an argument, at the end of the day, you could say, all right, I'm done, right? And there's, it's easier to walk away from that. But in marriage, you have to really, you got to really lock in, right? And you can't be scared to have those hard conversations. One of the things that I learned probably around the time that we had just met, that Xavier and I had just met, and we were getting to know each other. And I have always, historically in previous relationships, I've always struggled with having hard conversations. I was never with anyone that I could have a conversation with, especially a hard conversation, right? Like it was any hard conversation was a disagreement. Any disagreement was a fight, right? Like there was never a slow rise. It was always boom, 0 to 60. And so knowing him and learning how he communicates and being in relationship, and when things would come up, recognizing I can't sit on this. I have to bring it up, as scary as it is. But practicing that and being in those moments where I have something really hard to share, something that's hard for me to say that I think might be hard for him to hear, the more that you do that, you build that muscle memory where it doesn't mean that it's still not hard, but you learn that person enough that you know, I can bring my hard to you. I can bring you my difficult. And we'll sit there and it may take us a couple of days to wrestle through it. But at the end of the day, we're on the same team. So if I can't bring you my hard, like what then am I saying?
That's right. That's right. I remember in therapy, my therapist was telling me, like, sometimes you have to have conversations like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times until you feel like you have clarity or closure, right? So it's okay to have the same conversation. It's okay if it's just not clicking for you. Like you can't grasp it, you can't comprehend, or whatever the case may be. It's okay to keep talking about it. So hearing that gave me the freedom to say, all right, hey, babe, this isn't sitting well with me. I need to have this conversation again. I want to talk about this again. And, it was freeing. And through all of that, I felt seen and heard and valued, right? And he was able to strip away the anxiousness in the sense of, or the annoyance in the sense of, why does she keep having these same conversations with me? What? That's annoying. Like, doesn't she just get it? And yeah. Also, what I learned is that hard conversations, they seem hard at the beginning, but the middle and end, that's when true reconciliation happens.
100%.
Right? That's when you feel connected again. Because I don't know about y'all, but before the actual hard conversation is had, that's when I feel disconnected.
For sure.
That's when I feel like, oh my gosh, we not firing on all cylinders. Like, what's going on? How can we get this going?
I think to that point, I was talking to my therapist. We love therapy, by the way.
Yes.
I was talking to my therapist, and she was saying, with these hard conversations with my husband, with friendships, I have to give people a chance to show up and a chance to love me. If I don't have these hard conversations, or if I don't bring this conflict to them, I'm not allowing them to, quote unquote, test our friendship. Like, I'm not allowing it to be tested. I'm just, oh, well, I got it. I'll figure it out, or I'll stuff it. And with Marcus, living with someone 24/7, there's only so much stuffing you can do.
Yeah.
I remember one time early in our marriage, we were in a little tiny apartment of 600 square feet, and we were upset. And again, we are best friends, and so it's really hard being disconnected. And we walked around each other for about 2 to 3 days, just not talking. And I remember crying, thinking, oh my gosh, is he going to leave me? Like, is our marriage over? And of course it wasn't. But again, we hadn't been tested in that way.
Yeah.
So obviously we worked through it, we talked through it. But on the other side of that, I'm like, okay, he can handle my hard. Like, if I have an issue, he can handle it, and he's not going to leave me.
Yeah.
And Danielle, to your point, this is a covenant relationship whereas with my other friends, it's not covenant, meaning anyone can leave at any time. But me and Marcus, we set our vows in front of God, in front of our family, we're not leaving. Yeah. And so I think that just creates a sense of safety, even when it's scary. It creates a sense of, okay, you promised before the Lord, not just me, but you promised before the Lord that you are not leaving me, so I can bring this to you. And you may be upset, but we're still in this together.
Yeah. Earlier on in our marriage, we said that it's like we're crossing a bridge and we're getting married. Now, normally that bridge you can go back, right? But we chose to burn the bridge. So there was no turning back. And y'all, my girls, so y'all know I can't swim. So I can't. I'm like, I be trying.
For somebody that can't, you try.
I be trying. We not even gonna go over. We not even gonna talk about me trying to swim, y'all. I almost drowned in the shower, washing my hair.
In the shower.
Exactly. So we decided to burn that bridge, so we could not go back. We are over here on this island, the two of us, and we have to make it work. Like y'all said, through the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yep.
We have no choice. We're sticking it out. We're staying the course. All right, let's talk about. Fast forward, we were single, we're married, we talked about our spouses being best friends with them. Let's talk about what it's like being married as Black women and having friendships.
Like couple friendships?
Couples or just singles.
Okay.
Friendship. I mean, if there is a couple that maybe you're friends with the wife and Marcus hasn't connected with the husband or whatever, what does friendship look like for you? I think as I again just grow and mature and age, I have different expectations for my friends.
For sure. Yeah.
That has changed over the years. And my main thing is that you are caring for yourself. You are showing up for yourself well. I just feel like you can't show up for other people if you are not showing up for yourself, if you're not caring for yourself. Therapy.
Yes.
Therapy is so important. I love my friends. I love y'all. but I can't be friends with the 8-year-old Tiara.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like
Talk about it.
I need to be friends with this present day Tiara. And if you have things that you haven't healed from, I can't do it. Like, I love you, but that's the expectation for me.
Yeah.
What about y'all?
I guess in the season of life, I'm 31 years old. In the season of life, trying to.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait. Hold on. What that mean for the rest of us?
I'm ancient.
Friendship. Like, yes, my husband is my best friend, but I also need girlfriends to talk to.
Yeah.
Because I'll be trying to talk to him like a girlfriend. And he's like, nah, this
ain't for me.
Yeah, this isn't for
no.
me. Why? No, you need to
Call
go
your
talk.
friend.
Right,
Call your
truly.
girl.
Talk to Dari. Did you ask Dari what she thinks about that? So I need girls who, one, are on like the same spiritual journey with me. Just like people who can hold me accountable and who also like hold my values and know what I believe.
Yeah.
And again, friends that I can feel safe around. I've talked to you guys about this as well, but if I don't feel safe, I feel like I can't be myself. I feel like I'm putting on fronts. And as you said, it's self-care. And I'm not taking care of myself if I feel like I have to put on a mask every time to be around you. And so just maturing and growing up and realizing, I don't like the way I feel around this person. Why is that? Or why am I shutting down in these different scenarios? And so that has helped me just in maturity wise, growing up and how to care for myself well. I want to be around people who love me for me, and who I can laugh with and joke with and just come in the front door like it's my house. Yes. So, and if the door is locked, I'm upset, like it's my house. And so things of that nature, I need that. And it's healthy for my marriage to have that, because again, I can't put all my expectations on Marcus. He, number one, is not my God, so he can't handle all those expectations. And then there's just things like, as a woman, I need another woman to go to.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the flip side of that is that our husbands need other men.
They need an outlet too. That's good.
And so it can't just be like, oh, I have girlfriends that I can go to, and Zay doesn't have any men in his life, right?
Yeah.
Because then like it's unbalanced, right? So we got to make sure that everybody has has friends and have folks that they can go to, that they can bounce ideas off of, that people can understand from a perspective that then helps you to bring that thing back to the relationship, right? So yeah,
that's good. That is. I feel like statistically, men, like our husbands' ages, they don't have a best friend.
Yeah.
So what does that, like, I cannot fathom not having someone to confide in, not having that community of someone to just hold me accountable, call me out on my sin.
Yeah. And it makes me sad, right? When I think about our husbands, like my brothers and the men in my life, like the fact that society has created this culture where men aren't allowed to get really close.
Yeah.
Like when I think about the depth of our relationships and other friendships that I have, like I want that so bad for them.
Yeah.
Because I would not be who I am today or who I am on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis if it wasn't for these rich relationships that I have.
Yeah.
And the fact that men are not allowed or not supposed to have those intimate relationships, or if they do, it has to be with their spouse. Like that's unfair.
It's a lot of pressure on us.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of pressure on them if we only think that they can be the only person we confide in. And it's exhausting for one another.
Yeah.
It's too much. Yeah. It's too much to carry.
We don't want that.
No, we don't want that.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
What are some of the takeaways from today? I think the most important thing is your spouse needs to be your best friend. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Your spouse needs to be your best friend. And also, you need to have community outside of your spouse.
Yes.
Right? Have your girlfriends, guys, have your guy friends. Yeah. Have that connection, not just... everything is laughing, joking, fun. That's great. but also have that deep connection where people can hold you accountable.
Yeah.
And through that accountability, right, it may not feel good, but it's needed.
Yeah. Yeah. And I even think, you know, men, if I could give a word of encouragement,
Give it.
ask those hard questions,
Yeah.
right? Like I think men would be shocked if they were playing basketball or, you know, watching the game and somebody asked like, hey, like, how are you and your wife doing? Or, you know, if you ask like the hard questions and push beyond the, oh, we're good. Like, okay, well, like what makes it so good right now? Your marriage, right?
Why is
I
it
think,
so good?
yeah, I think men would be surprised that other men are really thirsty for those relationships and are thirsty to go deep and to be with other men, to be known, and to know other men in that really rich, deep, and wide way. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, 100%. I think to piggyback off that, yes, our men need community. I remember when Marcus first moved here from Texas, and he had a rich guy community. And when he came here, he had no one.
Yeah.
And I mean, sorry, Marcus, but he would cry. He would be so upset that he just didn't have guy friends. Like and he realizes I'm not enough. He can't just pour into me.
You're not a guy.
And I'm not a guy, right? I don't understand all the,
guy.
praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. He doesn't understand. I don't understand all the intricacies that come with manhood and all the pressures and all these other different things. I have my own things. And so, yes, our men need friends. But also I want to say on this podcast, thank you guys for being friends to my husband and friends to us. It's so difficult, I feel like, trying to find couple friends. So friends that I'm friends with the ladies and he's friends with the guys of the couple. It has to be like a match. It makes such a difference. You can talk through marriage. You can talk through different hardships that you guys are having. You can laugh together. You can eat together.
We cry together.
Yeah,
all
true.
of it.
Yeah,
Life.
all of it. So
We literally are going through life with one another.
yeah.
Like through all of the praise reports and the not so crazy reports, right? Like the difficult things, we are living that out with one another. And that's community.
Yes.
That's friendship.
Yeah. So thank y'all.
Thank y'all. Yeah. I appreciate it. I love y'all.
We love you.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching, liking, subscribing, Cutting Up with the Crawfords. We are on YouTube, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, all the podcast platforms. You can find us on there. We love y'all. We thank y'all again. Oh, big shout out to our production director, Deja Crawford. So she is here holding it down in the background, like setting up the video and doing all the things for us. We love her. All right. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye.